Greetings viewers, Eric the Car Guy, also known as ETCG1 when I do videos on this channel. If it's your birthday, happy birthday. Yeah, I do that. Blowing your budget on your project vehicle. I've done it, and then some. You're gonna blow your budget. I mean, if you have a budget set aside and you've got a project vehicle and you say, I'm gonna spend X amount. Originally, I started out, I think, with an estimate of $15,000 for the Fairmont. I would say I've probably gone about 10 grand past that at this point. I'm gonna tally it up and talk about the budget of everything when it's all said and done, but yeah. What started out as a $15,000 car has quickly turned into a $25,000 car plus. We're not done yet, remember? Now, I believe I've got all the major components taken care of. The engine, the transmission, the suspension, all of that has been worked out. But there's a lot of parts in the back of this car here, which is why I chose this location for this video, that represent some of the things that didn't work out, which are over that budget. Now, there are a couple of different ways that I could go, or you, if you find yourself in a similar situation where you've got a bunch of parts that you can't return. Know this about performance parts when you buy them. It's not likely you're going to be able to send them back. Once you buy them, they're yours. So there's eBay, there's Craigslist, there's, other means as far as selling those items that you're not going to be using or didn't work out or something like that. The approach that I'm taking is I have so much left over. In fact, you may notice that wonderful T5 transmission that Paul Cangelosi put together for me is sitting behind me, along with the old differential out of the differential that I originally had that I rebuilt for the Fairmont. So the old 28 spline differential is back here, the old coil springs, everything else. So in other words, I've blown the budget, but I've ended up with a lot of spare parts as a result. I'm gonna have really good parts in the Fairmont, but I'm gonna have some parts left over that are gonna end up probably in the car right behind me. Rather than selling the things out individually, I figure, why not put them on this car? So as you go through the Fairmont series, and not sure where you're at in that, I'll post a link in the description to the playlist for you. But if you're saying to yourself, Eric, it's such a waste to not use those parts. Well, I am using those parts on this. Relax, a little bit of slack. We'll get to it. I've got a plan. So in essence, my $25,000, $30,000 budget, which just blows my mind to think about, that is not just one car, it's two cars. So that's how I'm justifying it in my mind. And I guess that's what you do if you blow the budget on your project cars. You start justifying it in your head. Well, because I went with these super expensive type of parts, it means that I'm going to be safer or be able to go faster, or these justifications that you go into, like when you bust out the debit card in my case and say, all right, I need to spend more money. And you go through this little maybe dialogue inside your head, at least I do. I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, why am I doing this? What is the return on investment? It's a unique situation with me because I've got all of you watching, so that's easy for me to justify. Well, the fans, they want to see a turbo. and trust me, that's what killed my budget right there. What killed my budget was making the car a turbo car. And it's going to be awesomely powerful and an awesome car when I'm done, without a doubt. Better than it would be if it was just a standard V8, which was my original intention. It's going to be better, with hands down, but I would have been able to stick to my budget a heck of a lot easier. I would have been done by now and driving the car had I stuck to my original plan and budget. Hindsight is 20/20, always has been. But the point I'm trying to convey here is, if you blow your budget, if you don't meet your budget, if you're over your budget, don't consider it the end of the world necessarily. Try to work with it. Make some lemonade, which I'll have a second car, which will decide the fate of that when the time comes. I'm going to work on finishing that car first, but at this point, there's enough stuff left over to where I could just very easily roll into this car right after, right on the heels of it if I wanted to. But then there's also the GSR. Then there's also, I want to work on my dad's 51 Chevy. I'd love to give him that. And there's another surprise vehicle coming into the Eric Car Guy universe sometime in October. So there's a lot going on. I'm going to close this one out and ask you for what you've done if you've done a project like this and blown your budget. How you handle it, how you explain it to the wife or significant other. It's not just boys that plays this game. There are plenty of girls out there that build stuff too. I'm all for it. Whatever advice, whatever stuff that you can throw in there, I am willing to listen. There will be a link in the description to a discussion about this video over on ericthecarguy.com, but the comments also work. If you wish to, well, first of all, if you have automotive questions, I'd ask you head over to said.ericthecarguy.com and use the resources there. We put together lots of them to try and help you with any automotive issues you might have. Google+, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, if you wish to connect with me socially. Be safe, have fun, stay dirty. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Ta!